Yes, my friends, and welcome back to the Jon Mahon Show, powered as always by Forever Loud.
Hell yeah. Welcome back after our hiatus in the summer months.
And we're glitching again, aren't we?
I think we're glitching.
We're glitching. Are we?
Bloody internet, bloody streaming. We should just do this pre-recorded, shouldn't we? Save all this hassle.
It takes away the magic of being live, but yeah, we're still trying to figure out why this system is shitting itself.
Used to be fine.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, and then we decided to go on hiatus. So please do us a favor. If it looks terrible from where you're watching, let us know, because we can't have another Charlie Simpson happen.
Hopefully it'll sort itself out. We just get this message coming up saying it's going too fast. I've got it on the lowest settings, mate. Come on, chill out. But, you know, what are you going to do? Got to roll with the punches.
Roll with the punches, because you know that it's inevitable, soon to be unforgettable, and totally unpredictable.
Yeah? Have you heard that new song, actually? 4 Year Strong.
I don't think I have.
It's a banger.
Oh, is it?
Certified banger.
Certified fresh, just like a rotten tomato. How we doing, my friend? Welcome to the Jon Mahon Show. Powered by...
What? That's not my line.
Oh, yeah, powered by Forever Loud.
Looking at me like... I was like, that's not my line. Director, cut.
Powered by Forever Loud, or forever-loud.
www.forever-loud.com.
The way no one has ever read out a URL.
www.
Well, we got a lot happening on today's show, my friends. We are going to be joined by Blood Command's Nikki in about 27 minutes' time.
To command some blood.
Yeah.
You get back in my veins.
What have I told you? And then in our tour today show, we'll be joined by Kai and Sarah from Takedown Festival to chat all about the success that they had at their 2023 return, as well as everything they've got in store for next year. And it is well worth your time listening to today's show all the way through, or watching today's show all the way through, because at the end, we've got a surprise for you. But it's one of those wait for it surprises.
I mean, you could probably guess if we're...
You could toss out an intelligent guess if you wanted to.
If we're talking about having people from a festival on the show, what could we possibly be doing at the end of the show?
Yeah. You're just going to have to wait and see. But we've also got a shitload of stuff to talk about, because music ain't slowing down towards Christmas. Usually it does around this time of year, doesn't it? Like, news has gotten a bit slow, but there's still a lot to talk about.
There's a lot of tours going on, a lot of bands in town.
Yep.
You went to see Holding Absence?
I did. Went to London on Friday to go and watch Holding Absence headline the Kentish Town Forum with support from Thornhill. Thornhill, by the way.
Very good.
Fucking great band.
Great band.
Great band from Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, they killed it. And then friends of the show, Holding Absence, put on their biggest headliner to date in London, Kentish Town Forum. Really did sell that place close to out.
How were they?
I tell you what, man, it was phenomenal. Like, bit of a gripe. Not many people from the music industry there, which...
Maybe they just didn't let them in.
Maybe, but I mean...
a tight guest list.
But, like, a UK band playing... their biggest headline show to date on a Friday night in London. Like, what more do you fucking need to leave the house?
Was there anything else happening on that night?
King 810 were playing.
Yeah, but weren't they playing like a smallish room?
King 810?
Yeah.
They did Islington Academy.
Oh, yeah. 800, I guess.
Yeah. So what was the excuse for the industry folk?
John's calling them out.
I am, because it's like, it blows my mind. Like, a band like Holding Absence that have been working as hard as they have, who have had such...
You're complaining that all the industry wankers weren't at a show.
Yeah, because
the opposite of what most people complain.
You got to give a band their flowers, though. Like...
Yeah. No flowers were given.
I was tossing out some flowers.
To Lucas.
And I tell you what was beautiful. They did a stripped down acoustic version of Afterlife, which was beautiful.
Did they not? Did they? Was it just all acoustic?
All acoustic.
Was it?
Yeah.
But the crowd participation was good on that.
It was heavy, man. It was proper heavy. And like set list wise, it was just fueled with Lucas doing high kicks, lots of high notes, high energy. Height was a common theme running throughout.
How was old Lucas's voice?
Ah, flawless, man. Flawless. Like, if you've never seen Holding Absence live, how that man sounds on record is how he sounds live. And if anything, he sounds slightly better live because you can feel it as well.
Yeah. Get all the emotion, the raw, unfiltered emotion.
Total non-stop
from the
emotion.
Speakers into your brain.
But yeah, Holding Absence on Friday, they were amazing. You got Lorna Shore heading out on a UK tour. I don't know when it starts, but I know they're in Birmingham on Tuesday, London on Thursday.
Probably
tonight.
Yeah, probably tonight.
There's a band playing in Birmingham tonight as well, aren't they?
I do not know, John. I do not
Movements.
look at Movements. They are a good band. I was listening to them today, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know they were in town.
Yeah. Well, can't be in two places at once, Ollie.
Also, big news today.
Oh.
Guess who's back?
Back again.
Nickel's back.
Tell a friend.
Tell some men.
Oh, tell some men.
Because I imagine there'll be a lot of men going to that. A lot of excited men.
Like, I feel like Nickelback's demographic isn't as cock heavy as it used to be.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like TikTok virality has done a bit to broaden the horizons for Nickelback fans.
Yeah.
It's not as much of a sausage fest as it probably was in the early 2000s.
And today, they've announced that it's their first UK tour in 6 years. And they're going to be, I mean, it's only 4 dates, but
Still a tour.
you get enough Chad to go around. So you got
Non-stop Chad.
Glasgow, Manchester, London, Birmingham.
Yep. And I actually knew about this tour slightly before everyone else did because I had to voice a promo for the radio. Yeah. So I got the exclusive on it.
Yeah, get rolling, world tour.
Have you seen the promo video they've done for it?
Nah.
We could play it, but we get demonetized straight away because they're basically it's Chad and someone else in the band just basically going, what song should we play? Do people want to hear Burn It to the Ground? Do-do-diddly-do. Do they want to hear Animals? Do-do-do-do-do-do. Like that kind of shit.
Too Bad. It's one of my favorites.
Too Bad. Chain. It's why a hero can save.
Did they ever play that?
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, man.
I fucking love that song.
And shout out Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2. One of the best video games twice. It's happened.
Spider-Man
2, the original video game, was great. And Spider-Man 2, the latest one, was great as well.
Damn.
I played them all.
Let's go. This is a gaming show as well as a music show, my friends.
Yeah. Not often you have a support better than the headliners. Sorry, John.
Says Craig McInnes. Is that in reference to Nickelback?
Nickelback. Who's supporting?
Lottery winners.
Lottery winners. I haven't heard them. Are they good?
Not better than Nickelback, Craig.
Nickelback were my first ever arena show in 2002 off the
Silver.
That album.
Silver Bullet.
Nah, it's something Silver. The one with How You Remind Me On.
Yeah, tune.
And it was them at Manchester MEN Arena. My dad took me and my friend.
Let's go. Who supported? Can you remember?
Yeah. Theory of a Dead Man.
Toad.
Toad supported.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's definitely a support band that isn't better than that.
But it's like, everyone rips on Nickelback, but that era of Nickelback was sick. Like, it's weird because it's like, it became a joke to like Nickelback. But then I feel like their popularity has never gone down.
No.
If anything, it's just got bigger and bigger.
They talked about that on an episode of Bussin' with the Boys, which is a great podcast. It's run by two former NFL players, Taylor Lewanin and Will Compton. And they had Chad Kroger and this other guy whose name I should probably learn because he seems to do a lot of their promo. And they basically said that the whole "it's cool to hate Nickelback" thing stemmed from a DFS advert in the UK.
Did it?
Yeah. and it was like this DFS advert basically made out that Nickelback was shit. And then it was like it was the first instance of like a global meme emanating from like a really random point, and it stuck for years.
Just some person at DFS on the marketing team just like, do you know who I hate? Nickelback.
And I've got a platform.
Yeah, let's put it into an ad. So, that's mad.
Craig, you need to shut up. Very much in reference to a band that will never headline Download despite your admirable fight. I tell you what, right? I don't want to get on a fucking soapbox right now.
I wonder if, because you know this year, you said like they asked loads of different bands to headline.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it was they asked Nickelback?
Could have done it, but if they've got a 2024 tour lined up already, then that was never going to happen.
Also, I reckon Chad wants a bit.
Chad ain't cheap.
Chad wants that cheese. Chad wants that cheddar.
More like Chad Nogra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, there we go. There's a pun for you. But Nickelback tour 2024. Who's going? I'll be getting tickets to that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to go. Yeah. I imagine they put on a good.
They're tight as fuck, man.
I remember, like, I was a big Nickelback fan in
past tense.
Oh, it's been a while. It's
been a while.
That's Stained, isn't it? I was a big Stained fan as well. But I did have a live DVD. Do you remember DVDs?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Remember those DVDs?
What did DVD stand for? Digital
video disc.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm guessing
virtual.
CD's compact disc, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the. It must have been like the big tour of that album cycle that I went to. They had a DVD live show, and I used to watch it all like every week.
Let's go.
Do you remember, like, when you were a kid, you used to watch? I think maybe it was because we didn't have the internet really, but I used to watch DVDs like all the time, like the same thing. Like there's some films I watched like so many times.
Yeah, man. I like
every week.
I like as someone with like heavily undiagnosed ADHD, a big thing of mine is watching things to fall asleep to.
Yeah.
And when I was an early teenager, there was a terrible film that Dane Cook starred in called Employee of the Month. Did you ever watch that?
Nah.
Yeah, not many people did. However, I could probably still to this day recite every line from that film just because I had it on DVD, and it was one of, like, my DVD player hated DVDs, but it was one of the few ones that actually worked on my DVD player.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's sometimes you could get like an import DVD that didn't work on UK players.
like a...
Yeah. What was mine? I used to watch Fast and Furious.
Because
the original. Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. But on the DVD extras, they have like some music videos on there that were in the film, and one of them is that Saliva "Click Click Boom" song.
What a tune!
Click click boom. I'm burning down on the radio. Blowing up the stereo or something like that.
Not as good as POD's Boom, though.
Nah.
Here comes the boom.
Here comes the
boom.
Ready or not. What a time of music.
And
we're taking you back to the early noughties in this show.
Yeah. It's
Nickelback, Saliva, POD.
Stained.
Best band. Best band name.
I fucking hate Stained as a band name. I hate Stained as a band, to be honest with you. I don't know why. It's got like, they emerged out of nowhere on the radio playlist, and I couldn't for the life of me work out why.
When? Recently.
Yeah. It's like there was a Stained resurgence. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Stained resurgence.
It's happening.
Do you know what, actually, when we were in America on the main stages for Louder Than Life, between bands, they kept on being a Stained advert that came up.
Disgusting.
Maybe they're in with DWP.
Yeah. I did find that a couple of times with the US festivals, like how weirdly big some bands were over there compared to over here, like Godsmack.
It's the drive time radio rock. So like all like that sort of like proper American rock. The bands with the singers that sound like, yeah, hell yeah, fuck yeah.
I'm Amy Lee.
Amy Lee. all those American bands. Because obviously like you're driving home from work, you're in your big fucking truck, and like you put on those sort of radio stations, and all they play is those songs. Because it's like, but it translates more to that audience than over here.
It's been rebranded Divorced Dad Rock.
Yeah, yeah. Divorced dad. Have you seen divorced dads on TikTok?
No.
So there's this guy, and do you know, like people pull like Pokemon cards,
Yeah.
and like do reveals of the Pokemon cards. He's created this divorced dads pack, and each one's just a different thing that's associated with divorced dads. It's great.
I'm here for it.
Godsmack should definitely be in there.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Like
Godsmack CD.
Yeah.
Divorced dads.
Disturbed.
Although they're still big over here, I guess. But yeah, Godsmack, I don't think they could. What do you reckon they could do over at like Roundhouse or something?
Optimistically speaking.
Yeah.
Like I probably wouldn't go much higher than Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah. But in America, they're like arenas.
Yeah. Theory of a Dead Man, they're another one.
Yeah.
But they're weirdly big over here. I've never understood that.
I guess they're sort of in the same crowd as Nickelback, aren't they?
Don't even dare put Toad and Nickelback in the same sentence. Right, we've also got some other news that isn't related to Divorced Dad Rock, and that is the first batch of bands announced for Reading Festival 2024.
Should I get it up? Actually?
Get 'em up, get 'em up, get 'em up high. Bit of White Trash Millionaire. But I actually think I went on record on this show to say Blink were going to headline Reading next year.
Yeah. So maybe it's down to you.
It wasn't.
They were listening.
It wasn't. It was down to the rescheduled tour dates that they had, because Travis Barker couldn't make some of the. It was Glasgow and Ireland.
So it was a weird announcement, because it wasn't like here's like half the lineup like they usually do. It was here's 10 bands
ish. Yeah.
So you got the headliners, Liam,
if you want.
Liam G. You got Catfish.
Terrible bands.
Like I didn't realize they're headliner level.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I don't think they're a bad band. I think they're a good band.
Really?
They got some big tunes.
Like what?
I can't name them.
There we go.
And Skrillex,
who isn't a headliner.
But I think he could. Yeah, he should be a headliner, surely.
It blows my mind that Skrillex isn't, and then someone who we'll get to in a second.
Unless he might be doing like headlining one of the tents, like the radio.
He'll be headlining the dance tent for sure. There they are.
Yeah.
Mark, Tom, and Trav. So yeah, if you missed what I was talking about, basically Blink-182 missed a couple of tour dates off their most recent UK headline tour, and they had to reschedule them. And the announcement about the rescheduled dates came out, and the Glasgow and Ireland date are the week after Reading and Leeds Festival. So it didn't take much to figure that one out.
Jerry Cinnamon. Ever heard of him?
Nope.
Me either.
No.
Am I out of touch, or is it the kids who are out of touch?
Big fan of his toast, though.
Cinnamon Crunch. Cinnamon Grahams.
Yeah.
Are they called that anymore?
Probably not.
Golden Grahams. Were they even called Are they called Grahams anymore? I don't know.
That joke fell very, very flat.
It wasn't even a joke. I was trying to think.
Mine did.
Oh. And Spirit Box.
That'll be
probably the best announcement. I hope they play like the main stage.
Yeah, I genuinely do. I don't want that to be the token, like rock. What they call the rock stage? Is it the Pit still?
The Pit's no more. I think it's just the
lockup, the lockup stage. Yeah, I don't want them to be like the token band that get put on there to like make the rock fans happy. I want Spirit Box, main stage, and a real decent fucking time.
Remember when Architects and Parkway played the main stage? That was sick.
Yeah. And then, or should I say, and again.
Fred again.
Headlining, which I hope Fred is. You know how they have like main stage east and main stage west, and like the
one's like a proper headliner, isn't it? Yeah,
and the other one's like a filler headliner.
Yeah,
I hope they have the proper headliner slot, because
do they switch though between Reading and Leeds, or is it the same
headliners?
Yeah,
they
switch.
No, they keep them the same.
Do they?
Yeah, but given the fact that Liam is definitely going to be one of the big headliners on one stage, Blink are definitely going to be one of the big ones.
Yeah.
That then leaves that third slot pretty open, which like I don't want.
Wait.
There's still more. Yeah.
Yeah, Lana's definitely going to be a top.
You reckon?
I reckon. Doesn't say the days, does it? Oh wait, does it? No.
Yeah, they have put day splits out though.
But yeah, Fred again.
Yeah.
I reckon
Saturday
he'll have loads of guests joining him, won't he?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. But do you know what's fucked up? Him and Skrillex aren't on the same day.
Are they not?
No. Mate. Yeah,
maybe there's like a crossover. They can like team up in one of them because sometimes they don't. They have a day off.
If it did, that would probably be a Reading, wouldn't it? But yeah, if you go back a couple of slides to Skrillex's, I think Skrillex is, Sunday, Reading, Friday at least.
Yeah.
So
Sunday and Friday. Yeah, so like he's got a day off in the middle. What?
Yeah, so Skrillex will go to Leeds, do his Leeds.
So when's Fred playing?
Saturday at Reading.
So Skrillex could come over.
Yeah. And please, for the love of God, have Fred again be the main headliner for that night. Like, give him everything. Give him the pyro. Give him time. Give him features. Let it be dark as well. Like, it makes such a difference having dance music in the dark. Because I think that's one of the reasons why people felt Pendulum was a real weird set at Download this year, because you missed out on Pendulum's light show.
Yeah, I think everyone was saying that. I missed it. I had to go back to the hotel, but yeah, when I came back, everyone was like, it was good, but it just didn't feel like a Pendulum set because it's bright out, and obviously they still have their production, they still have the lights going on.
Yeah,
but it's like it doesn't have.
So they obviously spent money on it.
Yeah.
And then, are you a Lana Del Rey fan?
I like her. I don't listen religiously, but I think she's a very good artist.
And then
Ray.
I don't know who Ray is.
I know who Ray is. She's got some good songs, but again, not.
I have heard of Digger D though. That'll go off on the GCSE students.
The GCSE stage.
Yeah.
They should rebrand the Radio 1 stage. This one goes out to all you people in your A levels, or I guess GCSEs is before A levels.
Yeah. Who's looking forward to sixth form? So what do we make of that, my friends? Who's going to go to Reading and Leeds Festival 2024? Definitely more appealing for me personally than this year's lineup. Like, there wasn't that much on this year's lineup that really gripped me or excited me.
Yeah, Reading's gone down that path of just putting like heavy bands, few and far between, on smaller stages.
Yeah,
because I think like I was saying, like Architects and Parkway have played the main stage not that long ago, but I guess they sort of they're moving with the times, going for a different market. Yeah,
it was like the Killers for me. Like they are a Reading band, but they're not a band that I've ever had that much vested interest in. AEW ran All In on the Sunday, so I was never going to go on that Sunday anyway. But that was Billie Eilish Day, and that was probably the only headliner that I was really overly fussed about.
Yeah,
the 1975 are doing that album you really liked.
Doing the 1975.
Oh, is that what
I don't know why. Do you don't like the 1975? Do you?
I'm just indifferent about them. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, good band, but like I don't listen to them in my spare time.
Yeah. Should
like if I'm at a festival, I'll go give them a watch.
Yeah, that's the only reason I wanted to go this year.
1975.
See that, then play. It
was weird seeing Sleep Token on such a small stage as well, because that was after they'd sold out Wembley in like 10 minutes.
Headline that stage.
Yeah,
that
was a great day though.
That's
not loose on beforehand.
That was like we were saying. Sleep Token got booked for so many festivals, obviously a year in advance, and then they blew up this year, so they were playing all these smaller slots where they should have been.
That was prevalent at Louder Than Life. Do you remember that? How rammed that stage was.
Although everyone, it was so weird, right? Because I sort of went to near the sound desk, and I was like, "Oh, there's too many people here," so I just moved to the left, and because it was like a 2-stage thing, you could basically stand like quite far forward where the second stage was and see great and hear great. And yet there was a massive crowd of people just straight on from the stage going all the way back. I was like, you could just stand to the side. It'd be get a better view, better sound.
Yeah, I did that. I went all the way around to the right-hand side instead.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I reckon there's more space up there.
Because it was just, it was literally where the stage was, all the way back as far as you could see was people. But then, to either side, there wasn't that many people.
Yeah.
Bloody sheeple.
Yeah. Well, my friends, we'll be joined by Nikki from Blood Command in less than 5 minutes' time, here to talk to us about a whole host of things, including a brand new album called World Domination, which came out on the 29th of September, which we were talking about in length. And then in our tour today's show, Kai and Sarah from Takedown Festival will be here. And speaking of Sleep Token, they had Sleep Token headline their festival this year, which was a fucking massive booking.
Sleep Token and Skindred. I guess it was only a one day, wasn't it? Maybe they have Tuesday. I don't know. What it was. But this year, it's the first time that's going over 2 days.
Oh, damn.
In its history.
Let's go.
So we can talk to them about that.
Hell yeah.
And they can take us down the
memory lane. Have you been to Takedown Festival before?
No, I've never.
You've not been?
So, from what I'm aware, it had like a hiatus.
Yeah.
8 years apparently.
Yeah.
And then this year was the first year back. It's changed venues.
Yeah. I can't remember. I meant to look it up before the show started. I went one year and I was doing press that year. And I remember interviewing Blitz Kids. Remember them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jono's band. So
played football with James, the guitar, the singer, a few times.
Let's go.
When I was fit enough to play football. Now I'm just old and get out of breath just doing this.
Yeah, to be fair, it doesn't help that we're 3 floors above the ground as well.
The altitude of it. 3 floors above sea level.
Although, to be fair, do you know that about Birmingham? Birmingham's one of the highest points in the UK above sea level.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, no, not UK, in England.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So, pretty safe.
We're on level with, what's it called?
Well, we can pause that very interesting topic of conversation right there, because right now, my friends, it is time to introduce to you a lead singer of a Norwegian death pop group who you can find dressed head to toe in Adidas. Welcome to the show, Nikki from Blood Command.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just like moving my camera away because I seem like extremely close for some reason.
That's all right.
No, you look great. Thank you ever so much for joining us, though. We really do appreciate it. No Adidas on at the moment, though.
Pardon?
You've not got any Adidas on at the moment, though.
I do actually. This hat, I got it recently. It doesn't really look like traditional Adidas. It looks like really 90s. But yeah, it is an Adidas hat.
That is Adidas.
Suit pants on too, so
damn,
we're still repping it.
Good.
I was gonna ask, have anyone from Adidas reached out? Because you're promoting that brand very well in your music.
No, and it's funny that you ask as well, because we had we've had many people ask us, and today I put a Instagram photo up. Basically saying hey, I wake up every day wondering when Adidas will sponsor us. And everybody was absolutely shocked that we don't have a sponsorship. But Korn got theirs after 30 years?
Yeah.
So
still time. Well, considering the first song on your album is dressed head to toe in stripes. So it's sort of a good. You've got a good stead there for some branding.
Yeah, exactly. Were you referring to the first song? Did you say?
Yeah,
which is the band with the 3 stripes.
Yeah.
I said that when Ingvar, our guitarist, when we came up with that title, we were thinking what would be the perfect title for an Adidas sort of theme song. And I was like, Nike has the slogan, just do it. We need something like that, but the Adidas version. And he was like, the brand with the 3 stripes. And I was like, oh my God, it's perfect.
That's incredible. Genuinely, you need to be advising Adidas on their marketing strategy, because the fact that they haven't lent into the 3 stripes gimmick yet is pretty mental, considering how synonymous with the Adidas brand those three stripes are.
Exactly. Yeah, and every show we play, we wear Adidas, like every member.
Perfect.
And my twin sister who lives in Australia, she sent me quite recently this amazing red sequin Adidas like t-shirt dress. And it's like from a vintage store. So it's incredible, like red sequin with the big Adidas logo on the front and like Adidas written across the front. And we have this sort of I was going to say an intermission, like we're in the theater. Like it was like a middle part of our set where we play the techno track off our record, which is called The Next Level Above Human. And I kind of run off stage because, I just think, why not bring costume changes into punk shows?
Hell yeah.
Do a Beyonce,
So every Blood Command concert, I always do at least 3 costume changes. So I run off during this techno part and I put on that red sequin outfit. And, half the time people can't even see me because I'm so short and we play in dive bars a lot of the time. But when they can see me, they love it. But the punchline is that I think it's a bootleg and I don't think it's even official Adidas.
That's even better.
Yeah. And it still looks great.
Well, let's talk about all of the different things that you are bringing to the world of metal and to hardcore. Like you brought up the costume changes just then, but I mean, even that track, the brand with the 3 stripes, it opens with a trumpet fanfare for fuck's sake. Like, what a way to start a tune. Is that what you kick your shows off with as well? Like a big trumpet intro?
Unfortunately, I mean, I don't want to, give away any of our secrets, but unfortunately we don't have a trumpet player.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
With us, but we do have the trumpet track playing. Obviously we would never use tracks ever.
Oh yeah, bands don't use that at all in 2023.
You're telling me all these bands don't have an orchestra?
But we definitely have the trumpet intro, and the lights go out, and then we all walk on one at a time, and I do this big sort of run on stage, and then always try and crowd surf within the first 30 seconds or something.
Sick. Just straight out like the Chariot or something like that.
Yeah, like you gotta start off on a high. And
that's
then the show,
amazing.
It needs to get better from there. Set the bar high for yourself.
Hell yeah. Well, let's talk about the other sounds that Blood Command have, because just before we started today's show, we were listening to a tune that was acoustic and had a cowboy and cowgirl theme to it called In Losing Faith, which production value for that music video was through the roof, by the way. You sold us both on the real guns. Like we weren't expecting to chat to you today because we thought like you might still be dealing with like a gunshot wound to the chest. But that like the spectrum of sounds that you're churning out is unbelievable. Like what kind of reception do you get from the Blood Command fans when you do have those dotted in around like your standard hardcore metal tunes?
It's a really good question. And there's sort of a little bit of a story to it, I suppose, in terms of the way we rolled out our album campaign, because that Losing Faith, the song that you speak about, that was the first song that we released off our new album, World Domination. So, fans, we did the whole like live YouTube release where fans can kind of like chat to you, and people were like, wow, like this is really cool. And I could tell some people might have been a little bit shocked because they've not heard Blood Command do something that soft. And then with the help of our wonderful team of people who work with us, but mainly Ingvar and myself, we have a lot of, we have all of the artistic, vision. And Ingvar said, I want to release 3 pop songs, and then we're going to release 3 heavy songs because I want people to be shocked and I want to get them to talk. And, so the first song comes out, Losing Faith, and, goes pretty damn good. And then the second song, which is actually one of my personal favorites off the record, called Decades. That one's sort of like a real electronic, techno-esque, ballad. We released that one, and by that stage, we're getting like haters. And then we released our title track, World Domination, which was actually strangely a fun fact. It was the first pop song we wrote for the record, and we actually thought it was going to be the only pop song on there. And we had this, this plan it's very inspired off Post Malone. Oh, not Post Malone. Oh, what's the artist's name? Sorry, I look really silly now. The song Star Shopping by
Star Shopping.
See, I'm terrible.
Anyway, it'll come to me.
So let me look on Spotify.
Listening.
Carry on, I'll find it for you.
But we released World Domination, which is a very sort of like R&B.
Little Peep.
Lil Peep.
Little Peep.
Lil Peep. Oh my God, how embarrassing. I said Post Malone. Lil Peep. My apologies to all the Lil Peep fans out there. Lil Peep is cool. But yeah, we were very inspired of this Lil Peep song, Star Shopping. And this song has like me kind of doing like a rap almost. Well, not almost. I'm doing like a rap in the verses, and then the singing is very ballady. It's a very heartfelt song. And by that song, we had like people being like, I hate Blood Command now. Some people loved it.
People are so fickle, aren't they?
Yeah.
They've made something I don't like. This band's dead to me.
Yeah, like that kind, like trolling.
Yeah. Comment sections filling up.
It's the loudest in the room, though. It's like it's probably a minority of people, but they're the ones that type in all capital letters.
Yeah, and like, people always say never read the comments, and I am I swear by that. Like I hate reading comments on anything, but sadly, I can't really avoid it because I run our social media. So sometimes I actually just see the comments whether I want to or not. I don't go out of my way looking for them though.
Yeah.
And because it's the first record that I wrote on, Ingvar writes everything for Blood Command and always has. And then when I joined the band, he and I co-wrote. We co-write all the lyrics, and all the ideas are, both of ours. So because it was the first record that I was writing on, that he's had somebody write on with him, I felt that I was copying a lot of the blame for like this new direction, and people kind of like, fuck this new singer, like what the fuck. And then, the fourth single drops, which is a heavy song with screaming, which, and then I think it actually worked in our favor because it made people love the heavy songs even more.
Do you know what? It's also...
And maybe they would have. So, yeah, it worked in the end, but there was a period there when it was feeling like some people were maybe giving up. Maybe some people were losing faith.
I always feel like it's quite good for the algorithm as well. It's like when the more people comment and stuff, it sort of shows up more for them. So it'll, even if people are saying negative comments, it's good for you because it's engagement. It's engagement. It puts out to more people, so you get more views.
Yeah,
I agree completely. Yeah, I mean, and we both said, while we didn't expect there to be maybe that much negativity by the third pop song, and I personally think the songs are great, but they're just not maybe what some Blood Command listeners are used to. We both said we wouldn't have changed what we did anyway because it's just made people understand what we're trying to do, which is push, genres.
Hell yeah. And I think there's not enough bands willing to take that risk in this day and age. Like there's a lot of bands who are more than happy to sit in the pocket, play it safe, like not venture too far either side. Whereas the bands that do, and this is I'm a DJ by nature, and this is some advice I got given years ago, which was if you want a heavy song to sound heavier, play a pop song before it, or play an EDM tune before it, or play a dance tune before it, because the lighter sounds to the human ear will set them up to not expect something heavy. And then when that heaviness hits, it hits twice as hard. So what you're effectively doing is you're giving your live shows just an extra layer of texture, making the heavy side of the Blood Command sound even fucking heavier.
I totally agree with that. And I also think like it's such a naive way to look at music to think like just because the song sounds soft and pop doesn't mean there's a heavy theme there, or does it just because the vocals are not as energetic doesn't mean there's as much passion there. Because, it's the slower songs that we've written are, in my opinion, the heaviest themes.
Hell yeah.
And, we've also done that intentionally because with the theme of the album, I always say it's like essentially about loss in many ways. And we wanted to demonstrate many different kinds of loss, which weirdly both Ingvar and I had experienced quite similar things at the time in our lives. Like we both lost our mothers, they both passed away, and we both lost previous bandmates. Jeez. And we both had people turn their backs on us, and that was something that we really bonded over. And I think to write those songs, but to get all aspects of the loss across, we had to do some of the songs heavier and some of the songs softer, because some of the songs are like, fuck you, how dare you leave me? I'm angry, I'm going to write a 30-second grind song. But then some other songs are like, of course they left me, I'm the biggest loser ever. And then there comes the vulnerable, softer songs. So the album's been received really well, and I think it's because people really understand what we were trying to do with it.
Hell yeah. And I mean, talking of that fuck you kind of side that you do bring to the album, opening up Heaven's Hate with a bunch of spineless suckers, you bunch of motherfuckers, is a bar that just kicks so much ass.
Yeah. Bitter, maybe.
But I mean, like that at a heavy show, like especially when you got hardcore music fans screaming words like that back at you, like that's a nice adrenaline boost.
It's amazing. It's amazing. There's nothing more rewarding in the world than having fans scream your lyrics back to you. It brings a tear to my eye, literally. Like even when I'm like screaming my head off, I'm like sweating profusely after the 50th minute of like these insane songs. I'm like, oh my God, it's so beautiful.
They really like
I love you all. I'm like, now, circle pit, now, motherfucker.
Kill each other.
I love you, but kill each other.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
That sums me up on stage perfectly, though.
That's amazing. Well, one thing I wanted to ask about, you did actually touch on it just then, was you joining the band, because you've only been an active member of Blood Command for about 2 years now. You joined in 2021. And
technically 2020, but
oh damn, pandemic.
Good research.
Yeah,
good research.
Something happened then.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to ask you was, with this new material, World Domination, is it the fact that Blood Command shows live now are only performing songs that you've been on, or are you performing songs from Blood Command's full catalogue?
Yeah, it's a very good question. We perform, obviously right now we're doing the World Domination tour, so a lot of the songs are off World Domination, but we do a bunch of old songs. We do one quite old song in there, which is great for the fans. So when I was asked to join in 2020, my previous band, we were a hardcore band from Melbourne called Pagan. We weren't like, world famous, but we did a lot of European and UK tours.
Yeah, I think I saw you at Slam Dunk.
Oh, yeah, we did play Slam Dunk. Oh, cool. That's so cool that you're there.
I was actually with one of my friends' bands, and we were playing just after you. So I watched you. I think, if I remember, you were drinking a bottle of wine and you spilt it.
Yeah, it was like my stage.
Yeah.
thing. I
it was
went
all
on
over.
the Andrew WK all white.
Nice.
With red wine, like pouring red wine over me to head to toe Adidas. You know, I've always got to have like a thing.
Love that.
But weirdly, my guitar player, my now guitar player Ingvar, he read this article that I did for, I think it was like Kerrang, and they basically, you know, just did an interview with me and about my influences, and they said if I said a quote like if Karen O from Yeah Yeah Yeahs and Dennis Lixon of Refused and International Noise Conspiracy, etc. If Dennis Lixon and Karen O had a baby, that would be me. As in like that's who I, you know, have been inspired by the most musically. And Ingvar on the other side of the world, like I'm in Australia then and he's in Norway. You probably can't get further away if you tried. He read this article and he was like, holy crap, that
We want her.
two favorite and biggest influences, and who is this girl? And he like, you know, looked up Pagan and like became a big fan. And then at the same time, my bass player of Pagan, he introduced me to Blood Command. He said, look, there's this amazing Norwegian band. They kind of sound like Pagan, but like a more pop version. And I was like, all right, I'll check them out. And I listened to their title track off their 2017 album, Cult Drugs, and I instantly thought it was fantastic. And then, you know, Pagan break up just due to, you know, personal reasons. The guys didn't want to tour anymore. I was quite heartbroken. I wasn't ready for the band to end, but I respected their decisions. And then I just get a message from a random Norwegian guy saying, hey, we really aren't happy with our singer. We want to get rid of her and, you know, we would love you to join the band.
Damn.
And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I love your band and I think I can, not dissing anyone, but I think I can bring a lot more to the band and I think I'm the right fit for you guys.
That's so cool. How does that work logistically? Whereabouts are you based now?
I moved from Melbourne, Australia to Bergen in Norway. I was there for 1 year and I've relocated to Oslo. So
Nice.
I'm obviously still in the band. I still rehearse every week on my own with instrumental tracks. It was a little bit hard doing long distance from my partner because he is in Oslo. So,
Fair.
you know, it was a tough decision to make, but Bergen is so pretty. Like, I don't know if you guys have been there before.
I was going to say, I haven't been to Norway, but I've seen pictures and it looks
If
amazing.
you go, like, Bergen is the place to go because you never even believe how beautiful this place is. But it was just a little bit too small for me, being a big city girl. So Oslo it just fits me a bit better, I think. Yeah, and it's not far from Bergen.
Yeah,
I like that in your music you do have some of those like little Norwegian influences, like the black metal. You have a lot of blast beats going on. Is that something the band bring into that?
Yeah, our song, The Plague on Both Your Houses, we filmed that wanting to emulate like one of Immortal's music videos too. And I think we pretty successfully did that. Like I think people get the joke, you know.
That's sick.
I love the Norwegian cheesy stuff.
Yeah.
But the boys in my band, like before I joined, they were like, no, it's lame, it's cliche. I was like, no, we need to like capitalize on this.
Hell yeah.
Like it's so funny seeing people in Adidas like
black
metal forests. Like it doesn't make sense, but it works so well for Blood Command. And I think it's been the right move for sure.
That's amazing. I just wanted to rewind 1 second because my follow-up question was basically off the back of asking you if you still play older Blood Command songs.
Oh, yes, sorry.
No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. I love where the conversation went. Like, I want to travel to Norway now. You're a great like tourist ambassador for the country of Norway. But what's it like as a vocalist joining a new band and singing songs and lyrics someone else has written? Is that weird?
It's really that's again like great question. It's really hard because I'm a songwriter. So and I have, as you can probably tell by this interview, I have a lot to say.
Hell yeah.
So you know, I struggled because we recorded our 2021 release, Praise Armageddonism. We recorded that while I was stuck in Melbourne during COVID. It was already recorded with Karina, the previous vocalist's voice on the record, but all the songs were written by Ingvar, like they weren't her lyrics. So,
Right.
you know, he was just basically getting someone else to sing his lyrics. So in that aspect, it was good because I was able to ask him, what is this about? What does it mean to you? Because when I go in the studio, I really have to know what I'm singing, and I like to express that, like those emotions, like in the
Especially
way
with a scream as well. Like you need to know what you're
yeah, like
screaming
I
about.
need to know what I'm saying, and I need to visualize it while I'm doing it. And he was really helpful, and obviously explained what everything meant, and I found my own way of interpreting that into from my life experiences. And, while if I could turn back time and co-write the lyrics with him, of course I would want to, but in saying that, I think he did just an amazing job. I think he's one of the best songwriters I've ever come across. And I just felt really privileged to sing such amazing songs. And then, he's such an established producer and songwriter, and for him to trust me then to write with him, I'm the only person he's ever written with, and I'm the only person
Damn.
he's ever written with, which is really crazy because I thought it would just end in a shit show, but it just worked. So we're really lucky to find each other. But yeah, it was difficult singing somebody else's lyrics.
Yeah.
And then, with the live shows, because we perform some of the older songs, it can be tricky,
Yeah.
because some of the songs, they're just not the way I would have delivered them vocally. So I've kind of got to try to emulate the way that the past singer has done it. And, I do my best, but I also have a bit of a Nikki spin because I am me and I've got my
Hell
own
yeah.
voice. So I try and do it to the closest I can, but, I can't have the same voice as someone else. So
Is it
yeah,
the two of
I work
you?
hard.
Is it the two of you singing on "Losing Faith"? Like,
Yes.
yeah, your voices go so well together.
Yeah.
Oh,
Especially stripped
thank
down like that.
you. Yeah, I think so too. It was really amazing as well because I said to Ingvar, one thing I want in this, no, two things I want in this record, but one of them we didn't accomplish. One of them was a song, no, sorry, three things. One of them was a song with just Ingvar, Tick, which is the last track on the record, Tetragram. The second one was a song that we sing together, Tick, Losing Faith. And, he produces everything, so he gets the final say, but, we discussed a lot of creative ideas. And the third one was for me to do a dog bark, which I didn't get, but I will get there one day.
Do full
Or maybe he just hated that idea and just never spoke of it again.
go full
Which is
knocked
most
loose.
likely.
That's amazing. Counting Worms needs a sequel.
Yeah. Wait for the dog bark, people.
That's incredible. Well, one thing I wanted to talk to you about, especially on new singles, was the Forever Soldiers tune, because it's a very interesting concept of a song, like filming it in a church. We've got a couple of pals in Vukovi who recently got into some trouble from the church that they filmed their music video in. And yeah, the church didn't take too kindly to the final product. I'm guessing because yours was slightly more innocent. It was just like, hey, we're just wearing Adidas. Like,
It's actually again, I keep saying this too. This isn't me kissing your ass. This is genuinely another good question. I myself am an atheist. But some of the members of Blood Command are actually Christian.
oh damn,
So
okay.
they knew someone who knew the person who runs the church. And they just asked to hear the song, and we respected it. We weren't, doing any illegal activity in there. We had a couple of beers in there, but we cleaned up after ourselves. We didn't make a mess. And they were totally cool with it. They were just, yeah, really nice. Like, again, I don't, believe in anything in particular, but I think that,
You'd think wine would be
some
fine.
Christian people are all right,
Yeah.
Some Christian people are cool.
Yeah.
Some Christian people suck like anybody,
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't bust out the pagan red wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Drinking his Christ's
Exactly.
blood.
But yeah, it was really cool shooting in there. It worked really well, and I weirdly got like this Adidas tracksuit, which was like a cream color, and it just went like perfectly with the altar. Like the whole thing just worked very seamlessly.
That's amazing. And I mean, like, Forever Soldiers as a tune as well. Like, I feel like your voice, like, shines really well on that. It's interesting to hear your influences you were talking just then, because it reminded me a lot of, Wade from Alexis on Fire.
Yes,
The way your sort of false fold rasp kind of hits throughout that tune, like that combination of like singing but also screaming at the same time. Like, I did feel like in parts like there was a bit of Alexis on Fire going on in there, but that tune fucks.
Thank you so much. That song is a really special one too, because that's actually about Ingvar's mum who died, and her
Amazing.
name was Esther. And yeah, he wrote that song about her. And then there's another track on the record called Blue North, which is like a heavier, more artsy kind of sounding track, and that one's about my mum. So it's really nice we both got to put a song about each of our mums on there. And yeah, Forever Soldiers of Esther is another one of my favorites.
That's so beautiful. And I'm guessing they're getting played in the World Domination tour that is kicking off this week.
Sorry, what was the question? Is it going to be?
I'm guessing they're getting played in the set list for the World Domination tour.
Yeah. My mum's song isn't, which I'm not complaining about, because it would
Heavy.
be a little bit heavy. But yeah, Ingvar's mum's song is certainly in there, and it's one of the crowd favorites for sure.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's so awesome.
It is. It is. I'm really proud of him for doing that too. I think it's really brave.
Yeah, for sure. And having to go out there every night and play that song, and obviously when you're playing those songs, you often start reliving certain memories. So for him to effectively be expressing his pain to a room full of people, but having that level of catharsis where he's turned something painful into something beautiful, it's a nice moment all around, not just for the band but for him as well.
It is. It really is. And like, it's one of the last songs we play in the set, and like I do a little talky bit before it, and I say that it's about his mum, and like even right now, like it makes me a bit teary-eyed. Like I get teary-eyed on stage, like talking about it, because it's so, I kind of say it's so amazing that he wrote that for her, and how proud she would be of him.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, loss of a parent is a very hard thing for anyone to go to, and it's something that everyone goes through twice. I mean, my old man passed away 5 years ago, and it's one of those things that whenever you meet people who've been through that kind of experience, it's a very specific pain that only few people who've been through it at that time can relate to. And obviously it happens twice to everyone, because you have to lose a mother and a father at some point. But it's such a specific kind of pain when one of the people responsible for bringing you into this world leaves it.
Yeah, it totally is. And like, as I was sort of saying like earlier, it was, one of the things that made me and Ingvar so close so quickly, because I came to Norway not too long after my mother passed away, and my father had passed away the year before.
Jeez.
So it was like this really crappy time in my life, and then my band broke up, and it was just fucking.
And you would just like hard reset everything.
Oh yeah, it was a mess, But and I got to Norway, and I'd never met my band ever. I'd never met them face to face.
Damn, that's scary.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's nice to meet you.
And I think like if I didn't go through that hardship, then I probably wouldn't have done it. Like I probably wouldn't have just moved to Norway, never having met my band, because who the hell does that?
Yeah.
That is literally psychotic. I mean, we'd already recorded the album together and everything though, so it was a bit too late to turn back.
I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
Oh, so you recorded before you'd
When
even
I
met them?
got here, me and Ingle were like, kind of reminiscing the other day, and he goes, do you fucking remember when he probably didn't say that because he's not Australian. He went, do you remember when, I met you at the airport, you come to my house to sleep on my couch for 4 months because we were supposed to be doing this 36-date tour with Kval Attack, which got postponed because of COVID. We ended up recording World Domination. Anyway, he goes, do you remember when you arrived and you come into my house, we sit down. I'd just gotten off the plane after 30 hours in transit or whatever from Australia. And, I think we both open a beer or something. We've just met face to face. We've only ever had Zoom meetings, recorded this album, which was essentially him producing over Skype and a sound engineer in the other room from me. And then he just, within 10 minutes, we're both just sitting there having a heart-to-heart about like our dead parents and crying. And from that minute, I was like, we are going to have no problem getting along.
Yep.
Like we're already best friends.
That's so beautiful.
It's a very sad thing, but the grief definitely brought us together.
100%. And look at the products that you guys are reaping because of it. I mean, this bond, this connection that you formed translates to this World Domination record. Like now diving deeper into your psyche and where you were and where some of the themes and the concept of this record have come from. Like it's understandable how like these styles have meshed so well when that's your origin story for World Domination.
Yeah, thank you. I've never been more proud of something I've worked on ever. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. And I feel it's just an added bonus to get, people loving it because essentially I want listeners to get something out of it, but I don't really care for reviews. And, as I said, I don't like reading comments, but it has been received very well. And that's just an added bonus for something you work so hard on.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you ever so much for your time today, Nikki. We really, really do appreciate it. World Domination.
Thank you for having me, guys.
That's all right.
It was
Yeah,
lovely to
that's
meet
great.
you both.
Anytime. And anytime you've got something to promote, anytime that you want to jump on the show and rant or talk, like this show's yours, feel free to come join us anytime that you want.
Awesome. I'll hold you to it.
Absolutely.
Just send you a Zoom link every week.
Yeah.
You can just jump in.
Yeah, there if you need it. Well,
Yeah.
my friends, don't forget the World Domination is out now. The World Domination tour is kicking off this Friday in Bristol at the Rough Trade, and then you're off to our hometown of Birmingham on the Saturday at the Flapper.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll try and make it along to that show because I really want to hear a couple of these tunes live, especially that techno number you were teasing.
Yes, exactly. Thanks so much, guys.
Amazing.
And see you
Thank you ever so
again.
much. My friends, show some love for Nikki from Blood Command. Thank you so much.
There she goes.
What a chat.
What a chat. What a lass. Is that right? I don't know. Cool.
Yeah, well, my friends, that is it for hour one of today's show. We will see you in hour two, where we are going to be joined by Kai and Sarah from Takedown Festival.
Yeah. See you in a bit.
Otherwise, it's just all shadows.
We need to have it behind the camera, really.
There we go. Straight back into it, my friends. Welcome back to the Jon Mahon Show, powered as always by Forever Loud. And it is time to introduce to you our two guests on today's show. Please show a lot of love and appreciation for Kai and Sarah from Takedown Festival.
Hi.
How are we?
Good. How are you guys?
We're very good indeed. Thank you ever so much for the time.
It's our pleasure.
Well, we really do appreciate it. And in fact, one of the reasons why we were slightly late jumping back on into hour 2 of the show is because I was trying to find out when it was that I went to Takedown Festival, and it was 2014. 14. Yeah.
It's a good year.
A very good year. And I was reminiscing about interviewing Blitz Kids that year.
What band they were?
Yeah, R.I.P. Blitz Kids.
R.I.P. indeed.
But that was, yeah, as you said, very strong year. And a couple of Welsh bands, Funeral for a Friend and Kids in Glass Houses, headline that year.
Yeah, absolutely. We've always had the Welshies at Takedown for some reason.
It's a strong.
It's a great source.
Yeah,
Music.
Yeah, good source of rock bands.
You had Skindred this year as well, didn't you?
Oh, sorry, I'm
You had,
struggling to hear you there.
you had Skindred this year as well. Can you hear us?
Oh, 1 second.
Oh, wait. I'm off. That's why you can hear me. Professional podcasters we are. My mic was off. Yeah, so you had Skindred this year.
Yes. Yeah, second time they've headlined.
And Sleep Token, which was we were talking about this before. I imagine you probably booked them before they absolutely skyrocketed in popularity. How was that?
Yeah, to the extent that we actually had a board meeting shortly after I booked them with a fair chunk of our artist budget and was quizzed quite closely as to whether I knew what I was doing or not, which obviously I did.
It was a gamble that definitely played off. Well, let's talk about bringing Takedown Festival back this year. When did the conversations start? And obviously, with a band like Sleep Token in your contacts list, booking them as a headline set was a no-brainer as well.
Yeah, well, the conversation sort of started maybe 6 to 12 months before the event, or maybe even before that. So we're obviously a husband and wife team. We've known each other for decades, and we came out of the pandemic and decided to go freelance and to set the festival back up. But really, we weren't really too sure whether or not it was actually going to be a thing. And I dared you to post on social media, and he did. And then all of a sudden, there was a massive demand for it. So we thought, okay, maybe we've got something here.
Yeah, I think there was a certain amount of skepticism to start with because having done Takedown for many years, I knew how much work was involved, and Sarah hadn't done a festival before. So I had some trepidation, like, post-pandemic, not the best economical climate. It's an awful lot of work. I don't know if anyone even remembers it. And then Sarah, like she says, encouraged me to poke the bear, so to speak, and all the social media lit up like, is it coming back? And everyone was into it. So who am I to argue?
That's amazing.
How many years was it since the last one?
2015, so 8
15,
years,
8 years
between events.
Damn.
Yeah. Was it this year you had the change of venue as well?
That's right.
Yeah. How come you decided to move from? Was it Southampton before?
Yeah, Southampton University it was, and longer ago than that, Salisbury City Hall. So it's jumped around a few times as an event. I think we did approach the original site, but I spoke to Portsmouth Guildhall as well because we did want to expand on the original setup and have a bigger stage as well, which has obviously paid off massively. And I think by the end of the first meeting, they actually had excitedly unraveled blueprints of the site across the table and were working out what they could do to expand the event, and which was exactly the sort of energy I needed, really. So they got the job.
Love that. And in terms of the general rock music population traveling around, rock music fans have always enjoyed going to a different city, going to somewhere that maybe isn't their hometown. And with Takedown Festival being a nice, pretty scenic location, I can imagine it's not much of a hard sell to rock fans to be like, hey, do you want to go to somewhere that isn't London for something that's pretty exciting?
Yeah, everybody likes a day out to the seaside, basically. As long as the weather's good, then you're going to have a lovely time.
That's amazing. And with Takedown Festival, what I personally love the most about the lineup is it's such a great opportunity for new bands to be able to turn around and say, hey, we've been booked for a festival. For a lot of bands, it might even end up being their first festival performance. How is your picking process like in terms of scouting the new artists that you're given the opportunities to?
Oh, that is a big question. So a lot of it is organic. We're also national promoters as well. So we're constantly working with bands up and down the country, and whether they come through support slots or through managers or other contacts that we know, we're generally made aware of bands or will work with them. And then if we genuinely like them, they end up on the bill, is what seems to happen at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of things, really. I think some of the bands we're just genuinely scouting. We think, these guys are definitely going to be something over the next couple of years, which, if you look at any of the previous posters, is quite often the case. And then some bands simply, we think these guys are great. We want to give them a shot. And then we've got a local scheme running as well, where we run a sort of battle of the bands type thing with local artists for them to have an opportunity to play the event as well. So there's plenty of opportunity for new acts.
Love that.
Is there any bands that you've had in the past that maybe were quite low on the bill that are now huge?
Well, Creeper for one.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Headlining this year.
So Mallory Knox started off opening the festival and then ended up headlining the festival 2 years later. Don Broco, Young Guns, Bury Tomorrow. Yeah, they're all little logos somewhere on those posters in the past, which some of them we probably wouldn't even be able to get to the event anymore.
Yeah, especially Mallory Knox. It breaks my heart every time they come for conversation because I'm like, they were such a fucking good band.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I was a festival promoter, I'd be busted to be like, you know what? How big of a check do I have to write out of curiosity to get you boys back together?
Yeah, there's been a few of those conversations. How much for a reunion?
That's amazing. Well, I mean, looking at this 2024 lineup, I mean, you've done such a fantastic job on putting through bands who are not just friends of our show, but great UK talent. I mean, we've had a lot of work done with Lake Malice. Like, we've interviewed those guys a bunch of times. Like Blake and Alice, like two very talented musicians. And Employed to Serve, they came through Birmingham a couple of weeks ago on Halloween. And it just seems like, in terms of the selection and the diversity of bands, you've got bands who, some of them are still in the process of cutting their teeth, like the Lake Malices, but Employed to Serve, a band that have been around for a good few years and are, making significant headway. Like, in terms of your personal music tastes, how much of that is involved in terms of putting together a lineup? Do you have to go, I really like this band, I want to put them on my festival?
Basically.
Yeah, all of the above, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Sarah's a bit more in tune with the local scene, or the sort of upcoming scene than I am. If one of my stereo goes on, it tends to be something from the 90s normally, which is good because we're getting to book that again now. But yeah, so
I mean, we genuinely have listened to every single band that's on the bill, and they're either some of our current favourites or they're favourites that we've not been able to work with until now. The timing with the festival and their touring hasn't quite fit, and we've made it work this time. But they are all bands that we love and enjoy.
Love that. And one of my favourite inclusions is A being on the lineup.
Yeah, shout out A.
What a band.
Yeah, great to have them back.
Yeah, well, like I was saying a minute ago, it's been nice to get some bands from, without wishing to sound disrespectful, a little bit further back than perhaps we normally get away with. We've been going up to 2 days has allowed us to be a lot broader in our booking policy, going all the way back to good old Terrorvision from the 90s as well, which is right in my wheelhouse.
Hell is for Heroes as well, but they've had a bit of a resurgence. I've seen them at a few festivals recently.
Yeah. Peng Shui on there as well, great band, fantastic band. I mean, talk to us about the process of becoming a day tour in 2024. Was it based off the success of last year that you're like, do you know what? Okay, cool. We can really go for this as a weekender now.
Yeah, well, the good thing with Portsmouth Guildhall is that they are an excellent partner. And as soon as we agreed to progress the project with them, we had a 5-year plan in mind. So the plan is to grow the festival each year, year on year. So for year 1, we were 3,000 cap. Year 2, we're doubling the capacity by doing 2 days, same footprint. Year 3, we're going to push out a bit further. So the way the venue is geared up, we've got a huge, great big square, which we can hopefully rent off of the council and put some sort of tent in there for another stage, bigger stage. And then we want to get to sort of 15,000 cap eventually, but we'll see how it pans out. But at the moment, we're just making sure that we can deliver a solid product that everybody enjoys. And so far, the feedback's been phenomenal. You know, we've been absolutely blown away by it, and you know, only 1 or 2 negative. Or why didn't you book Dua Lipa or something on the bill? You know, just the people that you're never going to please. So yeah, it's great, and it's great to see that we can build it and we can make it bigger and slightly more unique each year.
That's amazing. And especially with the live music scene being as sometimes unreliable as it is, to have that kind of contingency plan in place where you're like, cool, this is the expansion, but at the same time, like, we know for a fact we can hit and we can deliver this consistently over the years. And I mean, with your festival book and churning out the names that are on this lineup, I mean, I don't think you're going to struggle with that 5-year expansion plan in the slightest.
Thanks. Fingers crossed.
I think it's a good representation of the UK scene as well. Like, looking down the lineup, it's pretty much all. I think is there 1 or 2 international bands, but most of them are UK based, and it's such a strong lineup. And it's good to see that you can make a full festival package using mostly UK bands.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily by design. I think obviously the problem is we're right at the beginning of the touring season as well, and that was intentional originally. We figured if we're as far away from the other festivals as possible, then there'll be less crossover there. But that works in our favour to an extent. But yeah, it does mean we have to catch US bands just right. But as Sarah said, with some expansion, hopefully will come a little bit more budget, and we'll start being able to get those fly-ins and more international acts on the bill.
But I don't think it takes away from it. I think it's nice to see a festival with just like the best of the homegrown talent.
Well, Download Pilot, that was a fantastic example of how you can actually put together an all UK band lineup if you really want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the talent's there.
Yeah, 100%. And it's nice for them to have a stage like this. And in terms of creating a festival, like, how much is involved in the process in not only starting your own festival, but then finding the resources in booking and putting it all together? Like, what was the origin story of Takedown Festival?
Wow. I mean, we've got to go all the way back to 2008. And I suppose a combination of things, really. One was just to put something that would get my company at the time kind of on the map, something a bit bigger than the smaller shows we were doing, and really just sort of open doors in terms of being able to do something a bit bigger and talk to those agents and get those bigger bands, and always to help launch the smaller acts as well, with a view of them becoming bigger over time, and that you can sort of track the progress of some of these bands through the festival since all the way back to that time. I think one of the first ones was You Me at 6 and Bury Tomorrow, if I recall.
Nice.
So
yeah, it works.
With regards to like the infrastructure side of things, it was very much done on a DIY shoestring budget. So it was essentially mates fest. So who could we get to help, or who could Guy get, because I wasn't involved at that point, into helping us actually run the event. And now it's a much slicker organisation. So where we're partnered with the venue, we've got all of their infrastructure. So it works really nicely and really slick, and everybody has a great time on the day, whether that be fans or artists. All of the bands came back and said, right, can we play again, because we love the environment, we love the, you know, backstage area, and just them hanging around and having a good time. Hardly any of the bands left after they performed, which was great for us because we got to see everybody.
Yeah, it's a really good setup. But as Sarah says, it's stepped up significantly in level of professionalism in its 8-year hiatus.
That's amazing. And in terms of challenges that people probably aren't aware that festivals face? Like what are some of the logistical nightmares of putting together a festival that your average festival goer probably wouldn't think of?
A really good example actually is this year. So last year, well, I say last year, 2023 bookings were relatively easy to do because everybody had come out of the pandemic, everybody wanted to play. We're now booking 2024, we booked 2024, and suddenly everybody's on album writing cycle. So there isn't that demand, but there isn't the availability of the headliners there. So we then end up in a situation where we have limited resources as far as headliners go, and agents expecting really high offers, or the major festivals, unfortunately, using their might and slapping massive exclusivity clauses on festivals. So it's never easy trying to work out what the right headliner is, but this year's been especially tricky because of those conditions.
Yeah, it's been a tough year to be a small festival this year, and it's not just us as well. We've spoken to other people, and slightly bigger than us as well, who are having very similar issues.
Yeah, we had James from 2000 Trees Festival on this show last year, just before Trees went ahead, and that exclusivity contract was something that he brought up, where he said, you know, sometimes there are like political landscapes that you have to navigate within the music world, where it is the case that, yeah, a band might have flown over for something, but they can't come your way because they're only allowed to stay within a certain mile radius of the people who've made the initial offer.
Yeah. I totally get why people do it, and because they want that exclusivity. I think the thing that we find as an independent festival, you know, we're a husband and wife team. Yes, we work with the venue very closely, but it is just the two of us. We are independent, and we can't necessarily match what Download or Reading and Leeds will offer. You know, it's really difficult, those conversations. But I think a lot of the agents that we've dealt with, although some of them have been quite hard to navigate, others have been realistic and said, actually, do you know what? I don't want my band to just play one festival in the summer. I want them to play all of them. So therefore, we're just going to disregard that, and actually let's have a reasonable conversation about budgets and offers and fees and that sort of thing.
That's awesome.
And sometimes I think when it's the big festivals, it's like, is it really going to impact your ticket sales?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
that's it. Little 3,000 cap at the beginning of the season, right on the south coast. Is it really going to be that much?
I'm not going to Download anymore because
Cassiette played Takedown Festival. That's it. I'm done.
But it worked out well for Skindred last year anyway, because they opted to do all of the smaller events and then ended up playing all the bigger ones anyway, because they filled in for people who pulled out. So
yeah, they were everywhere.
Thank you, Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah, who are back next year though, aren't they? So
yeah, so they're making up for lost time. Ivar and Co. Like I think they owed Download one. There was like an IOU on their next offer. Well, one thing I wanted to say whilst we had you was my first experience with Takedown was 2014, as I mentioned. And one thing that I loved was you booked DJs for after parties, and I got to DJ it that year. And I love when a festival bears in mind what the people are going to do afterwards, especially when it's an inner city setup. I mean, Slam Dunk have been good for that over years as well. And like in terms of having like an after party, how important of a process has that been, just to retaining the level of people, you know, who've just had a great time watching some live music and then they get to go and dance until 3:00 in the morning?
Well, that is mega important to me. So Kai likes to go and have a nice little rest. I don't want to party anyway. So this year we had the after party at a venue directly opposite the Guildhall, where everybody piled in, and it was brilliant. And we got to hang out with everybody that had been to the festival. Some of the bands turned up. It was just great. We just got to hang out with everyone, and we're doing the same again for 2024. That's just about to be announced, hopefully this week.
I do have some concerns though, because we've got another day of festival up at this time, which we didn't have last year.
It's always the way.
Yeah, so twice the level of partying.
Well, we generally don't drink these days, so I can still party, but it'll just be a can of Red Bull.
No, even a late night's enough for me.
Yeah. Well, I have always said that I did 5.5 months this year alcohol free, and I was the biggest advocate of like, you don't need beers in order to be falling underneath the party banner. You can still go out there sober and end up walking in at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. No walk of shame either. It's great.
The stride of pride.
Yeah.
Pride of pride.
Oh,
When I have to get back on site at 10 a.m. in the morning.
yeah. That's
6 hours sleep.
yeah, and especially when you got venue packed down, probably the day after that as well, where you got to get rid of all the rigging and all the gear that was in there.
Yeah, fortunately, we've got a nice production team that take care of that for us, but we do generally show our faces and make sure nobody's left anything behind. So we had a band come over from Eastern Europe. They left all their passports behind in the venue, so we had to go and sort that out, which was quite interesting this year.
Oh, that's not nightmare fuel in the slightest, like turning up to the airport and realizing that you're down the most important document.
Yeah, I think they've gone straight to the ferry as well, so they were completely screwed.
That's even worse. Oh, well, one thing I did want to ask you was, I mean, we did allude to it a little bit earlier, was looking forward to the future. Are there any bands that, you know, on the first go round Takedown didn't manage to get a hold of that you would want to, just for like self-satisfaction and fulfillment, want to get on your festival lineup?
Oh my, if we're talking realms of reasonableness and absolute wish list. So reasonableness, I'm desperate to work with Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes, but we've just not been able to make it work for touring season and album cycles and all the rest of it. And then absolute dream for me would be to work with Nine Inch Nails. That's never going to happen, but
I mean, you never know. Like that expansion plan that you were talking about earlier, like could
give them all the money and only have one other band.
But to be fair, Trent Reznor's so talented, you could just book him for the whole thing, do everything.
Just book all Trent Reznor.
Or just a 10-hour set. Just play all your.
I'm still keen to get a number of the bands that have played through previous takedowns. Actually, I'd love to have some of them back. Yumi at Six, Don Broco, Bury Tomorrow. It'd be great to get them all, knowing that they've played the growing up version of Takedown once.
Previous headliners, the Blackout.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Kids in Glass Houses. Gosh, there's so many of them.
There's loads.
There is quite a revival, isn't there, from like sort of early 2010s bands at the moment, or even just the noughties bands like Funeral for a Friend are back at it.
Yeah.
I think that sort of partly fueled our kind of broadening of our scope in terms of genre and things as well, because I'm going out to gigs and I'm noticing a lot more of that kind of older demographic out again. I don't know whether their kids are old enough for them to not need sitters, or I don't know what it is, but some things brought them all out again. Indeed, a number of those bands and their fans are turning up and bringing their kids with them as well.
Oh, that's wholesome.
Our sort of spread of artists sort of represents that in a way. That's
so wholesome. And one thing I also wanted to ask was, in terms of American artists, like, are there any American bands that, on, as you mentioned earlier, like on your sort of level, that you would be looking at trying to get your hands on in the future?
Yeah, there's loads. So because of what we went through this year, we're now already starting to look to book for 2025. So we're having those conversations around, okay, who is going to be around at the beginning of that festival season that we could possibly book, and then maybe help with some other shows in the country. So it's all to play for at the moment. We've got our own internal wish lists.
Yes.
That we're trying to fulfill.
Love that. I'm a big fan of that. And I mean, especially like in terms of the US side of things, like you look at some of the bands that have been crushing it over there that kind of haven't really had the opportunity to come and do like a big headline festival slot in the United Kingdom. Having a festival your size is such a perfect opportunity for them to be able to say, hey, yeah, we've headlined a festival in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think certainly next year's event, following on from this year's event, should put us on the map in terms of being on the right radars for those sorts of artists coming over.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And how do you find it being a husband and wife team? Because more often than not, when you go to work in the music industry, like you kind of working with someone who you just see 9 to 5, then you both go your separate ways at the end of the day, and then you see each other tomorrow, and you probably end up like crossing wires over certain stuff. But with you guys, it's like, does work tend to follow its way home with you sometimes?
it's had its ups and downs.
Yeah.
We've had to set some boundaries.
We do have boundaries where there's things like not allowed to talk to me until I've had a coffee.
Or indeed about work until after a certain time. Otherwise, I'll have an idea at 6:15, and it all has to come out.
Kai's quite neurodivergent, so there's no off basically, which is great. And when we harness it for good, it's fantastic. But sometimes when you're trying to just maybe have a Sunday morning with your porridge, looking at Facebook, you don't necessarily want to talk about who you want to book for 3 years' time.
That's it. Kai, I feel you so much on that front, bro. Like, I'll be lying in bed at 2:00 in the morning and I'll go, I've just had the best idea of my life. What am I meant to do with this information right now?
Just wake up your girlfriend. I've got an idea.
Yeah, don't lean over and tell the wife whatever you do.
It's like, that's your sleep paralysis demon. Just Kai going, 2026, by the way.
I have an idea. Wake up. Yeah, we're not quite happened yet, but yeah, certainly 6:30 in the morning and excited discussion.
That's amazing. But I mean, I can imagine it's a real nice dynamic to have though, whereby like you do trust each other with the safety of the festival. Like, it's not kind of like other music industry jobs where you're like, is that person trying to get my seat at the table? Or like, I've got to constantly look over my shoulder and worry about what's going on. Like, it's a team effort.
Yeah, we both hold each other very accountable. So, I mean, we don't do all the jobs. We sort of divide and conquer, basically.
Yeah, and we're quite complimentary as well. You're the organised one, and I'm the creative one.
Love that. Like, there's one ideas person, and there's one that's like, okay, let's be realistic about things.
Yeah. How much is that going to cost?
That's usually the big question.
Around t-shirt cannons and.
Oh, the answer's yes if it's a t-shirt cannon.
Any sort of cannon, to be honest. I want cannons.
Just blew all our budget on cannons this year. So.
I mean, you are by the sea. There's tons of pirate ships kicking around in Portsmouth.
Is there?
There are. I don't think we can repurpose them though for t-shirts. Unfortunately, they're a bit heavy.
A nautical theme on Takedown Festival 2025 is now what I'm kind of expecting to see.
Maybe that's what we should do. We should have like pirate fancy dress or something. Maybe that should be the after party.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
The ideas are flowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just get a rum sponsor. You're laughing.
That gets dangerous with me though. Rum is my drink of choice. So.
Oh, mine too.
Yeah, I'm a pirate at heart. If I'm drinking spirits, it's rum. Although since coming back to drinking, me and spirits are not friends as much as we used to beforehand.
I think you get to that age, unfortunately, where they just become that. Yeah, it's just not good.
I think I've run out of spirits that don't remind me of some.
Yeah,
some traumatic event.
Yeah,
every spirit tells a story from my youth.
Yeah,
which I don't want to think about anymore.
Yeah, I can't even smell Jägermeister anymore.
Oh God.
Yeah. There's been too many Jaeger bombs consumed over my career.
I once worked with a guy he's like the head of press at Jägermeister, and he can't touch the stuff anymore. He's like, I don't drink it.
Yeah,
which is understandable.
Yeah,
so I imagine he's consumed a lot in his time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, speaking of drinking and obviously that going hand in hand with festivals, like what I do love about the rock crowd is the rock crowd are the least problematic when it comes to having a drink and partying. Like, I can't remember the last time I went to a rock festival and I saw any sort of trouble kicking off. And I mean, like, as festival organizers, that's got to be like a nice little bit of background security, knowing that like, hey, at least we're not going to get like the most trouble you probably get is someone busting up a nose in a mosh pit or something like that.
Yeah, I think the only problem, we had a couple of ejections this year because people had just overcooked it on the sauce, which is absolutely fine. I'm okay with that. If you
it's
want
a long day drinking.
It is a long day drinking.
1 o'clock doors. There's bound to be a few cases.
You got to pace yourself at those events.
But yeah, they're only a danger to themselves.
Yeah, I think the thing that made it for me though, which just summed up our audience, was they were doing Oops Upside Your Head on the floor in the main auditorium in between songs. Like literally everybody sat in rows doing it.
It wasn't even a band on, it was just the music in between bands.
That's so wholesome. And like, it's one of the reasons why like I love rock music festivals so much. It's like the infamous story from Bloodstock where they have people jousting on the bins. It's like you only get that level of stupidity when you come to a rock show.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And they've made it official for 2024, haven't they? It's like a proper sport next year.
Binge jousting.
Yeah, binge jousting.
Brilliant.
In just
That's amazing. We need a takedown version of binge jousting to kind of organically make itself known on this comeback run.
That's where the nautical theme comes back in.
Well,
Yeah.
Let's have a think about that.
Oh, that's incredible. So, I mean, off the bands that are currently booked for 2024, are there any personal highlights you on the lineup? Any bands that you're really stoked to have gotten your hands on this year?
Oh, there's so many. Creeper, obviously love them as a dirty old goth at heart. They absolutely tickle my Meatloaf and Sisters of Mercy bone. Kick Pitchy and Snakes, who I have been trying to work with for about the last 24 months and failing unsuccessfully until this
I
point.
think Kick Pitchy is the only thing that's been on in the car for about 18 months now. So
Love it.
actually adding them for the festival was pretty special.
Love it.
Who are your favourites?
One of them I'm really excited about. I can't say anything. It's not announcing until December the 8th.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's still another round to go. It's not as many as the last two, but there are still some bands left to announce. There's some cool stuff as well. But I was really apprehensive about announcing TerrorVision because they're sort of 2 generations older than anything that's ever that's any band that's appeared at Takedown before. But it's such a nostalgia trip for me, going all the way back to the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see them, and they're absolutely on fire at the moment as well with their pink suits and still selling out big old venues. So I'm quite excited for that.
Love that. Tequila shall be flowing. Yeah.
I feel the same about tequila as I do Jägermeister. But the song's good.
So you said we can expect another announcement. Is that December 8th that you kind of said?
December 8th, yes. We're going to be doing our day tickets will go on sale with day splits and the last round of bands.
Hell yeah. Well, that will make for a nice early Christmas present for some people.
Hopefully.
All right.
Yeah,
getting those pre-orders in.
Yeah, especially with that tease that Kai was just dropping, that your personal favourites yet to be announced. Now the curiosity has started to peak. Well, just before we let you go, because we can't thank you enough for your time today, we do believe that you've got a little bit of a surprise for us up your sleeve.
If you've been told about it.
So we're going to go a pair of weekend tickets.
Pair of weekend tickets.
Pair of weekend tickets. Yes.
Thank you ever so much.
And the question's going to be which 2 bands headlined our 2023 return this year? So which 2 bands headlined Takedown Festival in 2023?
Thank you ever so much, my friends. That is brand new news for you. You could be attending 2024's Takedown Festival by answering the question, which 2 bands headlined in 2023. Thank you ever so much for your generosity, Kai and Sarah. We really do appreciate it. And we cannot wait to find out what this final announcement is going to be. But are we feeling good? Are we feeling excited? Not too stressed?
No, not stressed yet.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, ask me again in March.
That's a completely different question.
6 weeks ago, I would have been a shell of I'm feeling all right about it now.
Good. So we're going to get to enjoy Christmas a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
It's great Christmas present. So
I've heard, yes.
There we go. And if you don't manage to bag them in this giveaway, then make sure you get your hands on them, because you do not want to miss Takedown Festival 2024. Thank you ever so much for joining us today, my friends. Show some love to Kai and to Sarah from Takedown Festival.
Thanks, guys.
thanks
Thank you.
so much. See you later.
Cheers. Bye. Oh, well, what a way to end today's show, my friends.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. If you want to go to Takedown Festival 2024, we are going to be putting up a reel on Instagram with the question that Kai just asked. All you're going to have to do is just comment the answer to that and bang, you're entered into the giveaway.
Bish, bash, bosh.
It's as easy as that.
Yeah.
What a show, bro.
What a show. Yeah. Nikki from Blood Command.
Yep.
Great chat. And Sarah and Kai from Takedown Festival.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to be there. Are you going to be there?
I'll absolutely.
I was sort of, when you mentioned that you DJ'd in 2014, I was like, it's that hint.
Yeah.
Because then they were like talking about it. I was like, maybe book John.
Yeah. Is he going to ask for a job?
Yeah.
Well, Kai and Sarah, just so you know, if you do want me to DJ in 2024, I'd be honored to do it again because I've really enjoyed doing it in 2014. Yeah.
A new venue.
Yeah.
I've never been to Portsmouth.
Have you not? I do love Portsmouth. Shout
Where
out
is-
to Light Alt Night in Portsmouth.
Is it near Southampton? Or is it-
Yeah, kind of.
Just down a bit.
Same kind of direction. Well, thank you ever so much.
Bloop, 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 bloop. It's usually me that has the brain farts.
Yeah, although if you watched our Slam Dunk special, I am partial to them from time to time. My friends, thank you ever so much for watching the Jon Mahon Show this evening. Before we get out of here, the podcasts, we're now up to date by the King 810 one.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those for Simon Wilson, who's been able to help us out get back on.
So if you want to put this on in the car
Yeah.
while you're having a shit,
Yep.
while you're making your dinner,
Yep.
you can listen to it on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and wherever else you get your podcasts.
Yep. So with that in mind, all that's left for me to say is my name's Jon Mahon. Peace and love. Stay alive.
And I'm Ollie Rout. Go fug yourselves.
Oh, there he is.